zeros or double zero, the number of runs you anticipate for the day. We never really know until registration's done in the Indy region. So what we'll do is we might just put 5, because that's always our goal, is to get 5 runs at least in for the day. So we'll put 5 in there, and if that changes, you can always change it in the event settings once the event gets going. That's not a problem. Number of sectors, we normally don't do sector timing. Some clubs do that, where you might have a slalom where you want to time. You'll need extra timing equipment there, and then you'll have a different sector in there. We never do it. I don't know anything about it. SCCA 2-driver control is what we check. We always have a lot of 2-driver cars at our events, so we have that checked. Is it a 2-day event? Sometimes you'll have divisional events where they're 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So you'll check that, and it'll separate the spreadsheet out in the program where it has Saturday times and then it has Sunday times. But normally our events in the regions are 1 day, so we'll keep that unchecked. Down here at the bottom, you also have a membership load option. A couple things that AXWare does. AXWare keeps one database that's all members, and it keeps season results. The other part of it is your event file, where your fun event or your points event is happening. So what AXWare can do is, when you create an event, you can pull all your membership data once you have that membership file loaded up. So you have that database with all your members in it and their classes and cars and so forth. You can pull that into your event that you're creating, so you have an initial database of your drivers. So then once you make the event, it'll come up. I already have an event made, so I will open an event. 2011 Spring Tenning Test Event. All the events are the ink designation, the file name .ecf. It's event control file. So pull up that. So this is an event I've already made. So if you pull in and you hit OK on that dialog box and you're pulling in your member file, it might come up like this. And then once you have your pre-registration file from the internet, or everybody that's pre-regged, you can pull that onto your computer, and you go up here to File, Import. I don't know if you guys can see this too well, but Registrations. And then once you hit that, it'll bring up a dialog box and say, okay, where's this file that you want me to import? Like I said, it's either a text file. It will pull in text files just fine, which is what you have on Motorsport Reg, and IMP files, which is an AXWare import file, which is, you can get IMP files from My Auto Events if you're using that. So when you pull it in, it's going to look like this, and it's going to have, you can set this up however you want it to look. Right over here on the left, we have a class tree. This cannot be there. It can be there. It's however you want to view it. We just have it over here just because some people like it. So you can see we have STU drivers, we have SMF drivers, SSM, and so on and so forth. And now you're at the point where you're starting to take registration. Now when people start coming in for registration, we normally have a pre-reg line and we have a registration on site line. That's just how any region does it. You can do it however you want. When people come up, first thing we normally ask them, did you pre-register? Yes. Okay, what's your name? If I don't know you. So we'll say Darren Dobbinspec just came up to register, and he's right here in C stock 25. And what we'll want to do is we'll verify everything that we've pulled in off the pre-reg. Did you pre-register? Yes. And you already have a checkbox in the registration file, or in the registration column here from your import file. What we do, we have different columns here set up, and you can always redesignate what columns you see. Just like any other program, you right click, column preferences, and you can set up whatever columns you want to see. How we have it set up, we have a registration check-in. So Darren's checking in, so I'm going to X him off. I'm going to ask him for his driver's license and his member card, and I'm going to ask him for some money because we take payment on site. If you guys take payment online, that's fine. It should load in the amount that they've paid. If not, you can always print out a separate file from your online registration provider, and you should have a list sitting right there of who's paid what. So if you have that option, we always take money at the event. We find that it's a lot easier. We don't have to deal with refunds at the end of the event or crediting a different event if somebody can't show up. It's just a lot easier for us that way. So right now I'm checking him in, and he's gonna pay me, and it's gonna be $25. So I put 25 in the amount here. Is he a rookie? Well, Darren's been around a while, but I'm gonna mark him off as a rookie. So we have that option. You can designate rookies. You can put member in here. If he's a member, yes, he's a member. And you can also add any information. So you right click, and if you click on reclass, you can reclass him. Say if he's got a Pontiac Solstice. So if he's gonna go like BSP, you go, I changed class, I added some stuff to the car, I'm gonna go to BSP. I think it's a BSP car, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll say it is.
Sounds like either CSP or BSP.
Yeah.
So we'll change it to BSP and reclass, and it automatically reclasses him. So now we're all set. Now if we need to add something, like change his name, change his car, you just double click in the field, and that's done. And you can type it in right there, and it'll save it for you. Any questions on the registration part? That's kind of how our registration runs. I don't know how you guys do it in different regions like Cincinnati or Western Michigan or Detroit, but this is kind of how we do our registration piece. Clear as mud? So once registration's all finished and we have everything in there, you might have some people that pre-registered that didn't show up. You can always take those people out by going to edit and delete non-registered entries. So how we do this is we sort our columns here. So we have registered, we'll double click that. Everybody's clicked on registered, and then we'll double click registration check-in. And we have all the registration check-in. You'll see that it popped Darren right up to the top because he's the only one that we've checked in. Now let's say all these people didn't show up. What we'll do is we'll go through and we'll uncheck them from registered.
There's no way of doing that as a group, is there?
Yeah, unfortunately there's no way to do it as a group. You just have to go through. Normally we have maybe a dozen people that hadn't showed up to the event that pre-registered. We'll just go through and we'll individually click them off.
Okay.
And then we will go to edit and delete non-registered entries up here. Then it'll take all those people out so you don't have people that have a bunch of DNSs next to the results. And you'll know they didn't show up. So once that's done, we'll just keep them all registered for now. So that's why when I train registration people, I have them make sure to click paid and put the amount in there. Because another thing we use off of this is you can print reports that have each member's name, their class, and how much their entry fee was. And that helps our solo chair who does the audits. That helps them go through and audit the event at the end of the event. So that's another feature that you can use that we use. Now, after registration's over, anybody know the next step?
You're gonna have to do run order.
Heats.
Run order for heats.
You got it. So run work order. So let's do this. There's a really cool thing that you can do in here. Under setup up here, you've got modify event attributes. So this pulls up our dialog box at the beginning to where we set up the event. And if you want to change the runs, this is where you do it. So we'll save this. We'll keep it at 3. So we'll say that we had a lot of people showed up. So and we also go set up. You can set up work assignments if you want to run your work assignments through here. What we do in any region, we just print off heat lists and we give that to our worker chief, and we just write on top running 1, comma, working 2, or however it's going to work out. And then we give that to them. Okay, people working the first heat, you have your list, and people come up, check in, and he tells them where to go. And pre-event this year, what we're going to do is we're going to use Motorsport Reg, and one of the questions on our pre-registration is work assignment preference. So he's going to have that list of the preference of each person, and he can go through and he can check off, okay, you said you wanted to work course or time and scoring. I mean, we need somebody in time and scoring to get up there. So we don't really use the work assignments in the AXWare. What we do use in here is heat assignments. So we click on heat assignments, another dialog box comes up, and it can auto assign your heats, which I think is really cool. And it saves me a big headache. So we have, and it has an auto assign button right up here in the middle. And you can auto assign anywhere from 2 to 10 heats. So let's say we have 2 heats. And we also have, you have all your classes listed over here. And down at the bottom we have a PAX class. And our PAX class runs with the base class. So say it's a C-stock car and they're running a PAX class, they're still running in a C-stock heat. So their work assignment will be with the C-stock people. So let's do click auto assign. And it says, are you sure you want to auto assign? Well, yeah. So click yes. And it goes through and you can see it working. And it clicks and you can see where the X's change in the boxes. So these are your heats across here. These are your classes. There's another column here that has however many are in each class. So we have 3 in H stock, and right now we have them running second. Also up here at the top, it gives you a suggested work heat assignment. So 2 heats, obviously running 1, working 2. Running 2, working 1. When you get into 3 heats, you change those around a little bit. But in the first heat, it shows we have 27 drivers. And in the second heat, it shows we have 25. So it evens it out pretty good. What we also have is we have people wanting to run with certain classes. I need to run in the first heat because I got to go. Can I do a work assignment early, and then I'll run the first heat and get out? Well, that's going to happen. And you also have people who are 3 people sharing a car, and they're running 2 different classes.
Yeah.
So say we have somebody running an ESP car, let's say an FSP car and an ST car. Well, all 3 of them can't run in the same car in the same heat. So what we'll have next to the computer is also a little note scribbly thing where we just say FSP and ST split, or STU split with street mod. Something to that effect, that we know these 2 can't run the same heat because there's 3 or 4 drivers in that car and they're running 2 different classes in the same car. So what you can do here is you can change over. See, FSP's running second, and that same car and ST's running second. Well, that can't happen because there's going to be 3 people in the car. So let's bump ST over. Let's have ST run first. So we'll change that over, and it changes your numbers up here. So now you have 29 running first heat and 23 in the second heat. So then what you do is you take all your other classes that don't have special requests, and you look through them and you try to even up. So if you want to split, we're going to try to find a 3-driver class that's in the first heat. Street mod front. 3 drivers, they're running in the first heat. We'll click them over. That instantly evens it up. So now you have 26 and 26. So basically the difference was 6. I split it to 3, looked for a different, thanks Darren, looked for a different class that had 3 and moved them over.
And that helps with your worker heats.
That
way you
helps
got
so
enough
you're not-
workers
exactly.
and all that, because
That helps
if
so
you
you're not
shorten
short
the heat,
on workers.
you're not going to have enough workers to
Exactly,
work that day.
exactly. So you have enough workers in each heat, and that car that has 3 or 4 drivers will run in 2 different heats.